Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and apologize for my voice because allergy season is still going strong. And yeah, um, so it has been a while, and this is probably going to be rather chatty more than productive, as I put kind of in the description, because I feel like I need to get some things said off of here, and it's not nothing bad. It's just, you know me, I want to be kind of an open book to y'all. And if you have like any questions for me, like what I plan on doing from here on out, or what happened with dad, uh then feel free to ask. Like I said, I want to be an open book. um I think I can talk about dad without being too upset on here, so it'll be good. Saying hello to everybody. Hey, Broken, good morning. Hey, Laura, good morning. Yes, Chatty. Yeah. Hey, Eva, how are you? She's in both places. Hey, Sky, good morning. I am doing as well as can be expected. Uh, I was daddy's little girl. Kind of a tomboy. Dad taught me how to be stubborn and how to speak my mind. And yeah, so dad was just my go-to sometimes, but mom was too. I was kind of a two parent child, I guess. I didn't really have a favorite. So yeah. Yes, get some sleep. And thank you for popping in. uh, yes, I'm going to try to get back into the things. So the plan, and again, this is loose depending on a couple of factors. So we'll start at the beginning. March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, I made my trek to Murphy because Dad was going to start radiation that day. And I wanted to kind of be there to try to take care of him because y'all know radiation can be tough. So that's when that started. We got through the first week of radiation okay. He was exhausted. His energy levels were way down. His appetite was down. He was beginning to be a shell of himself. Well, he had always been. For the past year, he had kind of been a shell of himself. My dad was a beast. He's one of those guys that could pick up a 5-foot log and put it up on the wood truck without the loader. So that just, never had a father figure. I wasn't really around. Always fascinates me when I hear good dads. Yeah. Dad was 81 years old. His birthday was right after mine. His birthday was February 1st, and that's when he turned 81. And his name was Ralph Leondis Carter. His middle name is spelled like Leonidas, like the Roman general thing. So yeah, that's interesting, but it's always pronounced Leondis, and it's from his great grandfather, if I remember correctly. Some of his great uncles had that as their middle name as well. I think Ham did. Hamilton was Ham's full name, great uncle Ham. They were Stalkups on that side. So there was once upon a time a Leondis Stalkup. So yeah. Good morning, Rach. Yes, definitely sleep well, Sky. He stayed a beast in spirit. Yes, he definitely did. Even while his physical capabilities left him. Yeah. So on that, like I was saying, Dad kind of went downhill. So the second week, Monday of the second week, which was still in March, he fell. And I realized that I wasn't as strong as Dad. And I realized how much he was losing his strength because I couldn't help get him up and he couldn't help get himself back up into the chair. So my brother said to call 911 and that just went no in my brain because we were always the responders to 911. My family was. So in order to call 911 is like, who's going to come? I know there's more people, but it's just, you just get that feeling. So I called the neighbors instead. David Cook and his son-in-law Larry came over and we were able to get Dad back up into the chair. My brother came. He was actually on his way to work, which is like 2 hours away, but he turned around and came back, or he was already at work and he came back up. And later that day, we took Dad to radiation. And he took radiation Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. He told me and Danny that he was done. So, yeah, said I was going to get through this. He didn't want to fight anymore, and it was okay. It wasn't okay, but it was okay. So we began the process of keeping him as comfortable as possible. And this is where it gets difficult because the cancer that Dad had was squamous cell carcinoma. Yeah, it is a skin cancer. But it went inside him. And yeah, the first tumor, it started in his groin. So I'm not going to go into details, but the first tumor was cut out. The second one was also cut out. And between the two, one was about the size of your top of your thumb, and the next one was a little bit bigger. And it was almost maybe a month between the two. That second spot wasn't even on the radar when the first one was cut out. That's how fast it grew. So a month or two after that, I think the last one was cut out in October. Towards Thanksgiving, Dad started feeling a knot in the lymph node area on the left-hand side in the groin. And come December, it was visible. So we had another scan done, and the doctor came back and said it was everywhere. There were spots on his spinal cord. There were spots in his lungs. There were spots on different organs. There were spots in his bones. And yeah, when a doctor says everywhere, it's not a good thing. Yeah, we are currently kind of sort of working on it. It's kind of been on hold. You helped me with a lot of it already. Dad kind of giving up was hard to hear. And yes, he stayed aware for quite a long time. We were blessed with that. Yes. So let's see. Where do we get? Hey, Cammie, how are you? So the reason why we started radiation is because of that tumor that was in the lymph node. When he started radiation with that, March 17th, the tumor was already the size of a baseball. So yeah, you can imagine how uncomfortable that is right there at your hip. And then by the time we stopped, it was huge, and it was trying to eat its way back out. He had an open wound that was oozing, and he was in a lot of pain. So that Thursday, whenever he said that he was done, we tried to get him a catheter to help so we won't have to move him as much. We kept moving him so that he wouldn't get bed sores and stuff like that. But we thought it would really help if we had a catheter so that stuff wouldn't get into the wound. Because how close it was, you know? But that was a no-go. So here is where you see Sam get upset and angry, because the healthcare providers that we hired were shit. Beginning with his primary doctor just dragged his feet, and that's the reason why it took us so long to even get radiation started. Noted that the last cut was in October, and we noticed that the lymph node was growing in November. And it wasn't until March when they decided that radiation was a thing and we were going to start radiation. So yeah, strike number one with healthcare. Number two is, home health services kind of thing. I am not going to name the company because I know there are probably some good people that work for them. But yeah. They hardly did anything. They hardly checked his lungs. They hardly checked circulation. All they wanted to do was talk. And then whenever we realized that we couldn't get the catheter, that is when we went with hospice. And it was the same hospice company that helped us take care of Mom. And while they were with Mom, they were awesome. We loved them. The nurses were great. This time with Dad, it was the complete opposite. Again, they hardly checked him. It took a week for them to even bring somebody else to bathe him, which we had been bathing him. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. Quick break. We got Cammie. Eva says, my longest friend lost her mother in February. My closest friend lost her father in April. I mention you as a new friend when I tell people of the three. Thank you. Shannon, hello. Shannon is live right now, and she is also speaking of the AuthorTube Writing Conference. The full schedule is going to be announced at 6 p.m. Eastern. Here is the link if you want it, because I don't see where. If it's a double post, it's a double post. Right. Yes, don't forget that the AWC live stream tonight. Like I said, I think it's at 6 p.m. Let me double check. Yes, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure to bookmark that, and I will see y'all in the chats over there, I hope. And if they allow incapable, irresponsible, and negligent workers to stay employed, name them. I might do it in my Substack post. Just because. So the person who first came out is a friend of the family, a long time friend of the family. So I expected better. I really did, but I shouldn't have, because I knew how he was, and the sad thing is that there's not that many options where I'm from, and the fact that he was such a long-term friend and that we had known this family for as long as I can remember. Way before I was born, Dad worked with this dude's dad in the rescue squad for forever. He helped this dude's dad with his air conditioning business. Uh, so it was, yeah, it really just, yeah. It's a local company name, so yeah. I hate that they waited so long with something like that. At UNC, the patient would be seen on all floors of one hospital immediately for treatment and further scheduling. Yeah. So yeah, it yeah, there's the link. If y'all are interested, I'll put it both on Twitch and YouTube. See, Kami says, I managed to make it through April with barely any thought on those who died. It's been years since the bookends of death controlled my emotions all of April. This chop brought them back. I am so sorry. Haven't been controlled by the morning. Yeah. It's tough. So it April and August for me is the worst now, because, well, April, before all this happened with Dad, April was the month that my papa died. It was also his birthday. My papa died one day before his birthday, so that was kind of like a hard hit. And then now Dad is gone, and August is when Mama died. So 4 years ago. So yeah, it just the brackets, the A months from here on out might be weird for me. My mother was done with radiation within 3 months of her tumor surgeries. Nice. It was also fast. Yeah. Never had a haunting month, but now yeah, you had a really rough January. Really rough January. So yeah, and then hospice care. I think there's 2 companies that you can go with hospice care. And like I said, they were awesome with Mom 4 years ago. So I don't know if it's just a change in laws, or just that they've now hired people who are disconnected with emotions and actually caring for their people or for their patients. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see if I get brave enough to name them. Yeah, January 24th, he lost a grandson. Yeah. In 2020. Yeah, January 2024. Yeah. So yeah, January's bad. So yeah, I said all that to tell y'all that cancer acts differently in every single person that it's going to be in. And each separate type of cancer is going to act differently in every single person that it's going to be in. Squamous cell carcinoma is a skin cancer. It rarely goes inside, and usually when it goes inside, it's in the esophagus and the lungs. Dad, it was in the lymph nodes. So yeah, like I said, there's no usual when it comes to cancer, not really. And if you mentally prepare yourself for one thing, the cancer is going to take it in a different area. I was totally prepared for Dad to go like, Mom, basically, her body made her starve herself to death. And she began having seizures and things like that until we could get the right amount of medication to make her comfortable. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, that's just mean, or that's just bad because, but I don't care what happens when you see a loved one in that much pain and that much agony. You want to make sure that they are comfortable. That is all you care about. So Mom died August 5th, the day after Mom and Dad's 56th anniversary in 2021. And that's when Mom died. But yeah, their 56th anniversary was August 4th, 2021. So she lived through that. I think she was holding on just kind of for that, so Dad wouldn't have to think about their anniversary in too bad of a light, since he survived 4 more years. But yeah. But Dad, I was prepared for Dad to go that way because the tumor was near the stomach. It was in the lymph node, but no. that is not what happened. So Dad, because the tumor was so large and it was in the lymph node, his body couldn't regulate the fluid flow. And because of that, fluid started building up. So Dad basically drowned to death in his own fluids. And y'all, the sounds will, yeah. So at Dad's, there's a coffee maker. And for the, it took me 3 weeks to be able to be anywhere near that coffee maker when it was actually making coffee because of the sounds. Yeah, just the sounds and the smells are going to be what gets you the most, probably. At least it did with me. So kind of prepare yourself for that if you ever are a caretaker for somebody that is passing away from cancer. But yeah. And Grandpa had pancreatic, survived it, still going 12 years later. Grandma got liver cancer and was dead 2 weeks to the day of diagnosis. Oh, wow. Only blessing was she didn't wake up for 5 days before going. Yeah. Going in your sleep while going through that is probably the easiest way. 56th anniversary is going to be in 2056. Easy math. Dating anniversary. Oh, okay. If we should be blessed to live till then. Yes, you will. You live forever. A vampire. All right. So needless to say, I'm going to have to redo my intro to this channel because some things have definitely changed. I only managed to edit 13 chapters of Daughter of Blood Gold, and I hand wrote 2 pages, so that is far from what I wanted to do or what I had planned to do before this happened. But it's okay. It is what it is. You've got to go with the flow, and your family comes first. If you have a good family, don't go back to toxicity if they were never good for you, just because they're dying. I know that's rough to say, but trust me. Whoop, hold on. Curious if you've had spiritual paranormal moments of connection since your father left. So, the house that he was living in is 120. Let's see, what is it? We are in 2025. That house was built in, was it 1924? So that house is 101 years old. That house is home of 4 deaths that I know of. 5 deaths that I know of. So yeah, there's a little bit going on there. If you're in that house, you're always feeling watched. I practically grew up in that house because it was my grandparents' house. So I was, I make this joke, and it's literally a joke, but it's kind of true. I was born to be my grandparents' slave labor. So I practically grew up in that house because when mom went to work, she dropped me off at Mama and Papa's, and I went to work for them. My earliest memories when I was like 3 and 4 years old is carrying an empty bucket down to the garden right after Mama and helping her weed the garden and pick whatever we could out of the garden, and trying to carry stuff back with her. So yeah, and at that time when I was 3-4 years old, we also had my great grandmother, which lived just down the hill. So whenever we got through with Mama and Papa's property, we went down to Grandma's and we helped her down there. So yeah, I was bred to be slave labor. So whenever summertime, I was with them. Whenever I was sick, I was with them. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that land. Whenever I cross the property line, that was my great grandparents' property line, it's like the world washes away. And there is a great sense of comfort and protection. And yeah, just saying that, that, yeah. I have never felt fear on that property, ever. Even when I was being chased by boars. So I knew I was going to be taken care of. I knew that nothing terrible was going to happen to me. I don't know. It was just a sense. So for spiritual and paranormal moments, I don't know a time when I haven't had a moment like that. Like I've always been able to feel them. Like I've always been able to talk to them. I've always been able to know that they are there, So yeah. Like I said, that property has been in the just Papa's property in and of itself has been in the family for over 100 years, 101 years, I think. Well, no. So it was built in 1924, but Papa didn't buy it until 44 or 46. So it's been built for 101 years, but it hasn't been part of the more immediate family. Like I think our cousins way back, on a different branch owned it before Papa bought it. The land below that was my great grandparents. They bought that in 1890 something, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's far more than you expect from yourself in these moments. Yeah, agreed on the toxicity. Eva says, my husband did not respond or acknowledge his father while his father lay on his deathbed. 10 years ago this year, that man died on my birthday. Yeah, hired help, no way we bred it. That's Appalachian way. Uh, the property is technically staying in family, yes. So when my great-grandmother died, the property was split between all of the kids. And Grandpa drew it up to where everyone, except for one child, had access to the river and access to the road. So it was basically narrow slips of land that you could, it was still big enough to put a house on if you wanted to, do whatever you wanted to with it. So the one child that didn't get access to the river got the actual house and surrounding property with the chicken house and all the outbuildings. So she got the stuff already built on there so that she wouldn't have to build anything, kind of thing. But the one child who so I have issues with two of Grandma's children. They're all gone now, but so I'll just, who cares? Amaryllis and Callie. Amaryllis and Callie were the two middle girls, and they wanted everything for themselves. They were jealous little brats. And Callie married Mr. John, who was Air Force retired. Well, he was in the Air Force at the time. They made their money, a lot of money, in real estate down in the great state of Mississippi. And they bought everybody out. So that property became under one person again, with Callie buying everybody out. With that being said, my sister was already living in the house that Grandma was, because that house was originally deeded to, well, Patty and my brother were going to inherit it. But on Aunt Winnie Ruth's deathbed, Callie and Amaryllis badgered her enough to where she changed her will. And she split it up between all the kids. And then Callie bought that out. And they kicked Patty out. So yeah, a little bit of issue with them. That's when my family realized that I would say what I wanted to say to relatives, no matter what it was that I wanted to say. That was the first time I remember Papa going pale from something that came out of my mouth. We were at family reunion at the house that I'm talking about, my grandparents' house. And Amaryllis was trying to convince me to go back to church. And I looked at her square in the eye, looked her in the eye, and I said, if somebody like you is going to be in heaven, I'd rather be in hell. And that's what made my Papa go pale. They should know better by now. I mean, I was a teenager. Hey, Bonnie, how are you? Yeah. Yep. Open to any questions. Oh, to have a place to go that feels like home. Yeah. Portal fantasy with a property at its center. Yeah. So one of the 63 projects is the Belle Earth, which is already set, sort of, kind of, in Murphy. But there is another one that I have been thinking about that is going to be around that property. And it's going to have a lot of my family in it. I'm going to be taking some liberties because it is going to be kind of a paranormal fantasy. So yeah. It's in the works. It's planned. But yeah. Cammy says, nice. I had to cut ties to spiritual things because what was drawn to me kept getting darker and darker. I never felt threatened, but I didn't want to keep drawing that to me. That's a good thing. Good thing. Hello, you look great today. Keep going. Crushing it. Thank you. All the hugs to Jenna, too. Thank you for hitting the like button. The names your grandparents gave their children. Yeah, okay. So my great-grandparents' names were Clifford and Essie. Clifford was a little, Essie was a price. Their firstborn was my papa, Galvin. Galvin John Franklin Little. Yeah. Second, I always get their order of appearance wrong, but I believe the second born was Amaryllis. I don't know her middle name because I never cared to learn it. Just being honest. Then I think it was Callie, and then Callie, I think her full name was Callie Lou. Callie Lou. Again, I didn't care enough to learn her middle name. It's her kids that are using my grandmother's house as like a vacation home. They call it the farmhouse. And then Doc was next, I do believe, and his name was Clarence. They called him Doc because when he was little, they bought him a little toy doctor's kit, whatever, and he carried it around everywhere. So that's the reason why they started calling him Doc. And then last, but definitely not least, was my great aunt Winnie Ruth, who I adored. Everybody adored. She was freaking amazing. She did everything she wanted to and didn't give a shit. She was a ballroom dancer. I mean, yeah. Aunt Winnie Ruth. I remember all the family vultures. They tend to get what they deserve in the end. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yeah. It grew. Good fruit. Yeah. Even with all the drama, it has good stories. There is so many. There is so much that went on that property, and it's not even just since I was born. I mean, the stories everybody would tell. I mean, my great-grandfather had a mule at one point in time. It was when Dad and Mom got married. So we're talking 55 years ago. And that mule, like any other mule, it had a mind of its own. And if it didn't want to work, by God, it wasn't working. No matter how mad Grandpa got at it. So, yeah. Maybe we can do a swap or something so as I can read it. Yeah. It's going to be a while, probably. I don't know. So, here we're going to get into the goal side of things again. I think I will still be able to get out 3 more books this year. I've already published The Belle Earth Witch in January. So that's book number 1, because I wanted to publish either 4 to 6 books this year. And I think I still might be able to do that because I'm halfway through the first round of edits on Daughter of Blood Gold. If I can get the first round of edits done and then the 3 more consecutive edits with hopefully some beta reader feedback, I should be good on it. And then My husband wants to keep me pristine since it's a novella. It's not going to take as much work as my larger tomes. So I'm thinking I can get it out too with, the 4 rounds of edits and beta feedback, hopefully. And then there's I'm Your Hero, which is probably going to be the most amount of work. But since I published I'm No Hero in October, I'm really hoping that I can get it out in October as well, kind of like an anniversary thing. That's been the plan, and I hope that I can do that. Now, as far as Capture the Intrepid, which is the second book in the Capture series, Capture the Empress came out in November. I don't know if I can get Capture the Intrepid out in November as kind of like an anniversary thing for that. I am going to try, but I am not making any promises because, but I think I can edit and publish Daughter of Blood Gold, which is a dragon erotica. My husband wants to keep me pristine, which is kind of like a fantasy historical romantic comedy. And then I'm Your Hero, which is the second book in the I'm No Hero trilogy. I do believe I can get it out as well. No. Yeah. Not talking about my husband. No, that's far gone. Let's see. Broken says, barring something unforeseen, Agent is coming out this year. Yes, as a short novel. I'm getting some character art done soon, followed by the cover. Nice. I'm so proud of you. That is awesome. Hi, Andy. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Nice. All right. But yeah, so that is the loose plan for the rest of the year, is to get those 3 edited, published, and everything. I have a cover for Daughter of Blood Gold. I have I kind of have a cover for My Husband Wants to Keep Me Pristine. It's one that I made. But I'm Your Hero, I need a cover for, because the one that I have tentatively made is not going to happen. In between edits and everything, if I feel like writing, I'm going to write. And it's going to be on whatever project feels good at the time. I'm not going to push myself to finish a project that is going to burn me out. I know that's kind of weird to say, but Isekai Detective is really close to being finished. Capture the Intrepid, I just need to add that second point of view. It's really close to being finished. But if something else is pulling to me, like the whole epic, because the characters of my epic that I have been holding off on writing forever are calling to me now, because I guess because all this happened, and it's like, I need to get this out. So yeah, shifting around a little bit. Still hope to get 3 more books out this year. So we'll see. It's only May. It is May 1st. Imagine that. So yeah, this month I'm really going to focus on finishing Daughter of Blood Gold and getting people to sign up for beta reading it. And I don't know. Where's my thing? Hold on. Let's see. No, I haven't popped it up yet. Yeah, I haven't popped it up yet. Okay, so I will have the forms and the links for people who want to sign up to beta read Daughter of Blood Gold here soon. Like I said, I at least want to get through this first round of edits and get everything done with it before beta readers even touch it. I would like to get through 2 rounds, if at all possible. So beta readers might be able to have their hands on it by June, mid-June, June 1st to mid-June, barring anything else happening. Another thing that is going to be happening is the middle week of every month, I'm going to be in Murphy because we have to get this house ready for sale. And it is staying in the family, technically. We had another talk about it, and none of us really want to live there. I would like to live there, don't get me wrong, but Murphy is not healthy for me. If you get my meaning. That land is healthy. If it was just that land and the people immediately around that land that I had to deal with and family that I had to deal with, if it was just that, I would be fine. But it's the other people, the other issues going on there that I am not fine with. There's not as much there as I want, and I feel like I need. I like being 20 minutes from a major city versus 2 hours from a major city, you know? Murphy is known for being 2 hours from anywhere. It's 2 hours from Atlanta, Georgia. It is 2 hours from Asheville, North Carolina. It is 2 hours from either Chattanooga, Tennessee, or Cleveland, Tennessee, or an hour and a half from Knoxville, Tennessee, depending on where you are at in the county. So yeah, that's my thing. That's the reason why I don't want to live in a house that is 101 years old ish. Also, we would have to renovate it, and that in and of itself we can't afford, and it's fine. The house is going to the cousins that also own grandma's farmhouse. We had problems with their mother, but we don't have problems with them, if that makes any sense. I don't think they knew what their mother did. I don't think they knew what Aunt Amaryllis did. There's one of those children that I think probably had a hand in it, but she's karma's a bitch. So I don't have to worry about her. But the other two, they're good. They're good people. I like them. Their kids are decent too. Some of them are a little wild. Some of them get a little carried away and are a bit bigger than what their britches entail. But it's all right. They're kids, right? They still got some growing to do. Thank you, Eva. Yeah, I had 50 over on Twitch, and then the whole month and a half hiatus happened. So yeah, if you want to follow me over on Twitch, that would be awesome. Yeah, laying down the own roots. Yeah, that was our move also. Yeah. So the 16th through the 21st, 20th, 25th, somewhere around in there of every month, I'm going to be in Murphy. During that time, I might post like some posts and some shorts and stuff like that. I've already found a ton of lovely things in that house. So with that house being lived in as long as it has, it's got some history packed in there. It's got a lot of things packed in there. So it's going to take us a while to get everything situated. And this mess back here is going to be even more of a mess until we can get like another storage building. We already have one back there, but we're going to have one more in order to do what we need to do. But this quilt that you see right here, hold on. So this quilt is going to be one of like 30 that we have to go through. So this is one that my mama made and she signed it. So the pattern is called Another Star. It's made in 1988. No, 85. By memo, given to Samantha in 2002. It was my graduation present. Count all stitches as love. That's what it says. So yeah, yeah. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? But yeah, there are my great-grandmother, my granny, which was my dad's mom, and my mama were all quilters. And all of them made all of us quilts. Most of mine that they made specifically for me are now with me. I was hunting for this one and I finally found it. But there are the ones that they made for dad and mom that we need to see where they're going to go. If they're going to go to Patty, if they're going to go to Danny, if they're going to go to me. Or if we want to give them to one of the cousins or something like that, because the cousins, the older generation of cousins lived with mom and dad some, like just because mom and dad were the fun ones. Yeah, sorry about the loud noise. That box was one of my editing boxes. That's what I had Daughter of Blood Gold in. Yeah. So yeah, we have all the quilts to go through and separate. We have all of the throws to go through and separate. A lot of throws are crocheted. We found a couple of baby blankets. I think one is Danny's. I don't know who the other one was. It might have been some of Mammal's family. The Mammal that I grew up with is my step grandmother. My blood Mammal died before I was born. She died in 72, I think, somewhere around in there. So yeah, all the quilts. There's coins. There's books. Oh my gosh, the books. Mom started her own library. So there's all the novels that she had, and then there's all the books that Papa and Mama had, the medical ones, the rescue ones, the carpentry ones, the just everything. I have some of the crochet and quilting books already. And that duffel bag that you see right there is full of things. Doll making things, doll making patterns. There is a pattern for one of the quilts that I swore I would never make again. But it's sitting there. So I'm probably going to end up making it again because it's just too pretty. With that being said, hold on. But yeah, I want to show you guys this pattern too. Didn't know it was going to be a show and tell thing, did you? Okay. So, like I said, this bag is full of everything. So this is the pattern. It is called the Cathedral Window. There is one that is started in here. It's got one square done, or one section done, I should say. Well, some of these edges still need to be sewn, but here's what it looks like in person. The reason why I swore that I would never do one of these again is because there's a lot going on in this quilt. So as you can tell, there is a piece of fabric that is separate from the white that goes on here. And then there's, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I helped Mama with one of these, two of these before. I was the one that was underneath the big hoop that pushed the needle back through on a lot of Mama's quilts. So yeah, that, and just working with Mama on that quilt, the Cathedral Window quilt. I forget who we were making it for, but I didn't want to do it again. But we'll see. I might make a small one. Just to see if I have more patience than when I did when I was little. I love old books I collect from 1800s and the early 1900s. Yeah. Andy's saying hi. I don't know anything about quilting, but it seems quite an intricate thing. It is, especially if you do things by hand like you're supposed to. I've never understood. So in the quilting community, there's gatekeepers. If you can imagine an old biddy being a gatekeeper for quilting, there is. There's those that do everything by hand. All the quilts have to be by hand. Every stitch has to be by hand. So they think of themselves as the elite. They think of themselves as better than everybody else. Whereas those that do half by hand and half by machine, they are the middle tier. They are the middle class. You know, they're not perfect. They're not good. They're middle class. They are middle quilters, I guess. And then you have the ones that do everything by machine. And they are thought of as the lower ones, the ones that are newbies or just don't care about perfection. Which all of that is bullshit. I have as much patience issues with doing things by hand as I do with doing things by machine. It takes different skills to do things by hand versus doing things by machine. So sewing machines have been around for over 100 years. I don't see why there has to be a divide anymore. Because if y'all had a Singer sewing machine with a paddle board and you had to work it with your feet as well as working all the stitches with your hands, yeah, that's like chewing gum and running at the same time. I'm sorry. Some people can't do it. And it takes talent still. So yeah, little rant there. A little bit of history there for those of you that don't know many people who quilt. Quilting circles are interesting to watch. Most people are welcoming. Most people love teaching others, but yeah, it's just sometimes when you pull out the machine or mention that you're doing things by machine, they're like, "Oh, no, go." out. Yeah, quilting is sadly becoming a lost art. A lot of things are becoming a lost art. I wish that I had kept up with the things that I learned as a child. Um, Gardening, for one, I don't remember half of the protective like powders that my grandparents used to use. Like I know one was made from bean dust, and it was mixed in with two other things, and it kept the um tomato bugs away from the tomato plants, and the caterpillars away from the okra, I think it was. So yeah, I don't remember that. I haven't found where they have written down any of that either. So that's lost. They also had a mixture that they poured on anthills. It wasn't borax, because borax has that very specific scent. And it does specific things to the ground, like grass won't grow for a while. But whatever this powder was, grass still grew, but the ants were gone. So yeah, a lot of things are lost. Quilting is losing or lost some. Um, Carpentry, a lot of the intricate work with carpentry is gone. Uh, People who can look at something on a television screen and then make a pattern for it and build it, that art is gone. My papa could do that. He was a carpenter. He could look at an image in a magazine that was black and white, and he would sit there and figure, and next thing I knew, he was building it. So yeah, I haven't seen anybody be able to do that of late. Canning is slowly coming back. I see a lot of videos like homesteaders and stuff like that, but it's a lot of that is lost too. Quilting circles from a past and interesting. Yeah. Interesting to listen to, yeah. Quilting is lost art. My aunts spilt the tea at their quilting and canasta dates. Yes, canasta. Ah, that's a card game I miss. But yeah. So needless to say, 3 more books out this year, I hope. And slowly getting the house ready for the cousins to move into. As long as, so here's the deal, we have like things that they have to agree to. So like all of the cabinets that Papa built, they can't rip those out or destroy them without letting us know so that we can have them. So yeah, that's part of why we kind of need to sit down with the cousins and see what they're actually going to do with the house if we sell it to them, which more likely we will. They didn't really damage anything at great grandmother's. They remodeled it some, so that's a good thing. Hey, Margaret, how are you? Beltane. Spelled both ways. Phyllis Lucia. Canning is one of those things I've never tried. It's interesting. So Foxfire books, they are somewhat hard to come by now, especially the full set of them. If you find the full set, then you're golden. But Foxfire books is what a lot of the old Appalachians, a lot of the old Southern people followed in doing things. And there is one entire half of a book, if not a whole book, that was on canning in and of itself. And it has the signs that you have to go by in order to can properly, or for your canned goods to last for more than a year or whatever. You want to try to have them last for like 5 years or so. And there's certain qualifications that you have to have in order to can properly. Like for women, this is going to probably be a little bit TMI, but if you're going to can, you cannot be on your period because it won't turn out right. It won't set. And that may sound weird, but it's true. Memories of amazing connections. Yes. Yeah, Foxfire books can be found online, but that doesn't help when you don't have access to the internet. Exactly. I need to try to find hard copies of those somewhere. Good luck. I know some libraries have full sets, so there's a lot of information in those Foxfire books. There's a lot of Foxfire books. So if you find the sections that you need, maybe you can copy them and just go from there if you can't find full sets on sale. I know there's been a couple of new editions printed, but I don't know if they've updated them to modern times. You know what I mean? Because some of the things being updated to modern times doesn't work as well as what you can do with the old instructions. Yeah. One is fence building. Not fence building. What is it called? Foundation building. So I said that property has been in my family for over 100 years. 3 of the buildings on that property were built before the house was built, and they are still standing. So yeah. And they look like you can touch them and they will fall over, but they won't. You can still walk in them. Some of the outside timbers are peeling and falling, but yeah, 100 years and the buildings are still good, and they are nothing but wood sitting on top of rock. So yeah, there's nothing special about them. They weren't weather treated. They were just cut at the right time. They were sawmilled at the right time, and they were built at the right time, because you have to follow the signs with everything in order to make things last that long that shouldn't last that long. And I used to not believe in the signs. I used to not go by the almanac and all that stuff, but whenever I didn't go by it, that's when my garden failed the most. And when I didn't go by it, that's when my flowers didn't come back the next year. When I didn't go by it, that's when my canning didn't work. Canning in of itself canning scares me. I'm eyeballing the old pressure cooker that my grandmother used, and I remember avoiding the kitchen like the plague whenever they were canning, because those pressure cookers would rock and roll and bang and be so loud that I would think that they would explode and all that boiling water would go everywhere. But that was part of the pressure cooker's thing. So yeah, I don't know if I want to do that old pressure cooker, but I know for a fact that one of them, there's 3 of them there at Mama's. I know one of them is, she bought in the 40s. Then it still works. So yeah. I think she's only had to replace the seal like once. Hey, Cat Paw, how are you? Man. Hey, Rita, how are you doing? Your comment hasn't popped up. Here we go. Pressure cookers, they scare me too. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Pressure cookers are scary, but so good. Mine's one of the more modern ones with really good lid locks. I'll sit picks. Yes. I thought about buying a modern one, and at the same, you know how your brain is? Like, you're like, okay, I'm going to buy this because my grandmother had one of the old ones, and I'm going to buy a new one. And then the other part of your brain is like, why buy a new one? You can just go home, go back to Murphy and grab the one that she had. It still works just fine. Why are you wasting money? So this whole time that we've been cleaning the house and separating things and all that good stuff, my brain has been doing that. So yeah, it's been interesting hearing the voices in my head fight with each other. Also, note to self, whenever you are depressed and whenever you're going through shit, don't keep pushing yourself because your body is going to be mad. So I spent 5 days back home in Murphy last week. When did I come back home? So I was there from Tuesday the 22nd to the 27th. And the following Monday, the 28th, this past Monday, I decided, after doing all that work in Murphy, cleaning house, doing everything I could, I decided that I needed to mow the yard here. And instead of doing what I normally do, which is mow for 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how long the battery lasts, because I have an electric push mower, and then taking a 10-minute break, I pushed through and did not take that 10-minute break. I started on the next battery, and it was 2.5 hours that I was mowing straight. And I'm old, y'all. And I should have taken a break. Imagine that. But I didn't. And I pushed myself. And kept going. And I gave myself whatever you want to call it. I call it heat exhaustion. Some people call it heat stroke. Some people call it sunstroke. Some people call it sun poisoning. It wasn't exactly sun poisoning, because sun poisoning to me means that you are actually sunburned and you are blistering. And then you also get the effects of heat exhaustion. So I gave myself a little bit of heat exhaustion. I made myself sick. And the past 2 days have been me recovering from that. And my body is still, how your insides feel like you're shaking, feel like you're weak, still feel like that. So yeah, whenever you're depressed, do not push yourself. Listen to your body. Cat Paw says, like now, you mean not like you, but man, this has been the worst seasonal depression in decades. Yes, spring is my kryptonite, and I get so frustrated with myself. Don't get frustrated with yourself. It's know yourself and learn yourself and take care of yourself. Because yeah, you're the only one that can take care of you the way you need to. Like with Dad, we try to take care of Dad. We made Dad so mad so many times. It was hilarious. So that first week, I got there Monday on the 17th, and I think it took till, was it Wednesday? I want to say it was Wednesday or Thursday. So the 18th or 19th. And I looked at Dad and I said, I bet you'd wish I'd go home, huh? And he's like, yeah, I'm about to kick you out. So that is the first time my dad has threatened to kick me out. Took him 41 years to threaten to kick me out. So that was hilarious. I think I laughed until I cried, and he did his whole thing. So, and then I feel bad about this a little bit, but I got frustrated with him that second week. It was Thursday the second week. No, Wednesday of the second week. It was the day before he decided to quit. That Wednesday morning, I got aggravated with him because he was in pain and he didn't want to do anything. He was tired, and I kept pushing him to try to get him to decide what he wanted to eat, and kept pushing him to talk, and kept pushing him to move around and take his meds and stuff like that. And he just kept balking and arguing with me and being snarky with me and snapping at me. And I just snapped back, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to feed you dog food then. So, yeah, I feel bad about getting aggravated with him, but at the same time, he raised me to be the way that I am. So that's all on him. But yeah, that caused us to have a little bit of a laugh afterwards. But I didn't feed him dog food. I fed him oatmeal. He was actually able to hold down about 4 or 5 bites of the oatmeal, which was better than the previous morning when I think I gave him a protein bar and he ate 2 bites of it, and then I gave him an apple and he ate maybe 3 bites of it. So yeah, it was a wild ride, sad, but we still had some laughs. My family gets through things with humor, and some of it's dark humor, but yeah, it's humor. My sister, for instance, she's the touchy-feely type. She's the one that always wants to give hugs. She's the one that always wants to hold your hand if you're laying in bed sick. And Dad is not a touchy-feely type. He's like, get away from me, don't touch me, stop. Well, we had the hospital bed at that time, and this was like the last week he was alive. And Patty was like right there. She was like touching him, and like wiping his face and making sure his lips and mouth were wet, with the little sponges and stuff, and holding his hand. And he kept grumbling. And and he told her, stop touching me. She just looked at him and she went, well, that I am the touchy-feely one, and I'm going to touch you, and you're going to like it. So yeah, Dad didn't get quite what he wanted there at the end. But it was good. It was all good. Like I said, we get through things with humor, which I'm not a psychiatrist, but I think that's kind of a healthy way to do things. But yeah. So all this of an hour and 20 minutes to let y'all know that I'm okay. I'm as okay as can be considering the circumstances. I'm as okay as I can be from here on out. And there are going to be times where I kind of am going to take like a week or 5-day hiatus because I have to go back to Murphy to take care of some things. But I'm still here. I'm still working on my author career. I'm still working on my YouTube and Twitch career. So yeah, it's just going to be a little bit slower than what I had hoped this year. And it's all right. And I also wanted to do this to let y'all know that when things like this happen, it's okay to step back. It's okay to do what you can when you can. And don't push yourself. Okay? You have a limit. You have a voice in the back of your head telling you to stop and take a break for a reason. And listen to it. But yeah. We're okay. We're fine. And forewarning you, this back here is probably going to get piled up with all kinds of stuff, like the quilt, and crochet and everything. So I might do like a walkthrough of the old house and at least showing you some of the quilts, because they are gorgeous. And I fall in love with every single one of them every time I look at them, you know? So yeah, hearts. It's good to see your face again. It's good to talk to y'all again. I think of y'all as my friends and family, and y'all are great. Y'all are my community. You're my chosen community, the ones that I don't have to fight with so much. Thank you, Cat Paw. Here for you too. Hey, how are you? Yeah, definitely going to share some of my family. Thank you. One last thing before I let y'all go. I wanted to show y'all this because it is like the coolest thing ever. So my papa, he wasn't able to go to war because his gallbladder or appendix, one of the two. I haven't found the medical records or anything yet to see which one it was, because I can't remember which one it was, but it's either his gallbladder or his appendix that decided to rupture, and he wasn't able to go to World War II. So he was in Marietta, and he was building the super fortresses, the B-29s. And I found this newspaper. It is from 1944. And that plane right there, that's one of the ones that my grandpa helped build. Isn't that cool? Trying to get it to focus better, but I'll post more of this stuff. There's all kinds of stuff like this. Let's see. I also found one of my mom's bookmarks from way back when, and it's on the back is a checklist. So it's like, do you obey traffic signals? Do you cross the streets only on corners? Do you look both ways before crossing and stuff like that? And she has everything checked off. That's good. Except for only crossing streets at corners, because y'all, we were in the country. Crossing streets at corners don't happen. Because if you have to cross the street at a corner, you have to go like anywhere from a mile to 5 or 6. So yeah, she couldn't check that one off. But there's a little checklist. I found it in one of the family Bibles. But yeah. And I found Cherokee County Rescue Squad. So 1, 2, 3. Third line down, the second lieutenant is my daddy. Come on, focus. I'll post these pictures up later. But yeah, thought that was pretty cool. And here's another one of the quilts that Kona is sleeping on. So yeah, having a lot of fun finding all this crap, and yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, they built their wings their way. You're building yours in your way. Thank you for taking us into a glimpse of this journey. You're all it's awesome. You're welcome. Yes, like I said, um, when I go back, it's going to be the middle of every month, like the 16th or 20th or 21st or something like that. And I'll try to do like a couple of little shorts or at least a post of pictures and stuff so that y'all can see some of the cool things that I find. And yeah, we'll go from there. So thank y'all for listening to me ramble and ramble and ramble. But I just kind of wanted to pop up here, let y'all know that I'm okay. Let y'all hear me, let y'all see me so that you know that I'm not, just saying I'm fine, like I always do. But I am as fine as I can be. And you are too. You are doing the best that you can. And I am proud of you. And I want to thank you for everybody who reached out and commented on my posts and are just amazing people, because you helped me get through this. You helped me want to come back, and you helped me do the things that I need to do. So I appreciate y'all. And thank you so much for being you. And I will see you. I think my next live is Saturday. And hopefully I will not ramble as much and we might get some productivity done. But do not forget, and I am going to share this again, it is going to be the schedule for the AWC for this year. So make sure that you go to this link, you bookmark it, and you hit that little notification bell for when they go live, because the AWC is an amazing conference online, and it's all free, and you're going to learn a bunch of stuff. I'm going to be on the schedule. I'm going to be talking about making great dialogue, and I just talked this whole hour and a half, so I should know what I'm doing about dialogue, right? Right. Anyway, thank y'all for joining me, and y'all are awesome, and I will see you next time.